Even lions take a step back to hunt. In this video, we are shifting poles. In Law 15, we discussed why you should finish your enemy without remorse. If you didn't watch that video, link will be in the end screen. Now, if you are in the vulnerable position other than dominant one, what should we do? Now comes the 22nd law of Robert Greene's masterpiece. Without any further delay, let's start the video, and you know what to do if you find this helpful. Chapter 1. Embrace the power of surrender. In the realm of power and influence, the act of surrender can seem counterintuitive. We often associate strength with unyielding force, relentless persistence, and never showing signs of weakness. Yet, there is profound wisdom in the strategy of surrender. When we are faced with overwhelming opposition or circumstances beyond our control, surrender becomes a tactical retreat. It is not about giving up, but rather about regrouping, reassessing, and preparing for a stronger comeback. Imagine a river. When it encounters a boulder, it doesn't stubbornly push against the rock, but instead flows around it. The river's strength lies in its adaptability and persistence. Similarly, when we surrender in the face of insurmountable odds, we are like the river, choosing to flow around the obstacle rather than crash against it. This requires a deep understanding of our own strengths and limitations, and the patience to wait for the right moment to act. From a psychological perspective, the concept of learned helplessness, studied by Martin Seligman in 1967, shows that constant resistance in the face of defeat can lead to a state of passive acceptance. By consciously choosing to surrender, we avoid the pitfalls of learned helplessness. Instead, we cultivate resilience and strategic thinking. In practicing this law, we adopt the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. This mindset frees us from futile struggles and allows us to conserve our energy for battles we can win. By surrendering temporarily, we gain the clarity to see new opportunities and the strength to seize them when the time is right. Chapter 2. The Art of Strategic Withdrawal. In our journey towards power, there are moments when we must step back to move forward. This deliberate act of withdrawal is a strategic choice, not a sign of defeat. It is about timing, patience, and the wisdom to understand that immediate victory is not always the ultimate goal. Consider the ancient Chinese strategist Sun Tzu, who emphasized the importance of knowing when to engage and when to retreat in his classic work, The Art of War. He taught that a wise leader recognizes the futility of fighting battles that cannot be won. Instead, they choose to conserve their resources and wait for a more favorable moment. This principle of strategic withdrawal is a cornerstone of effective leadership and a key to long-term success. In our own lives, this means recognizing when we are outmatched or when the odds are stacked against us. It is not an admission of weakness, but an acknowledgement of reality. By withdrawing, we protect ourselves from unnecessary losses and preserve our strength. This allows us to reevaluate our situation, gather more resources, and develop a new strategy. From a psychological standpoint, this approach aligns with the concept of cognitive reframing. By changing our perspective on what it means to retreat, we transform a potential setback into a strategic advantage. This mental shift empowers us to see opportunities where others see defeat and to act with foresight and intention. Using this law for power involves a careful assessment of each situation. We must ask ourselves, is this a battle worth fighting now, or is it wiser to wait? By making conscious decisions about when to withdraw, we maintain control over our destiny. We navigate our path with the precision of a master strategist, always keeping our ultimate goal in sight. This is not just about avoiding defeat, but about setting ourselves up for future victories. Chapter 3. Turning weakness into strength. When we master the art of strategic surrender, we unlock the ability to transform our weaknesses into strengths. This transformation is not magical. It is a result of deliberate action and insightful reflection. By accepting our limitations and withdrawing when necessary, we create the space to grow stronger and wiser. Think of the bamboo, which bends in the wind, but does not break. Its flexibility is its strength. In the same way, our willingness to yield in the face of greater force allows us to endure and adapt. When we surrender strategically, we are not conceding defeat. We are fortifying ourselves for the future. This principle is echoed in the Stoic philosophy of embracing the present moment and finding power in what we can control. Historical examples abound of leaders who have used this tactic effectively. Consider Mahatma Gandhi's strategy of nonviolent resistance. He recognized that direct confrontation with the British Empire's military might was futile. Instead, he chose to withdraw from violent struggle, harnessing the power of passive resistance to eventually achieve India's independence. His apparent weakness became a source of immense strength and inspiration. To apply this law, we must cultivate patience and foresight. When faced with challenges, we should pause and evaluate our options. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to step back and observe, to learn from the situation and plan our next move with greater insight. This period of withdrawal is not idle. It is an active preparation for a more effective response. Psychologically, this tactic is supported by the theory of resilience, which highlights the human capacity to recover and grow stronger after adversity. By embracing temporary surrender, we build our resilience. We learn to navigate setbacks without being defeated by them. This mental fortitude is essential for long-term success and inner peace. Ultimately, the law of surrender teaches us that power is not always about direct confrontation. It is about knowing when to yield and when to strike, about turning moments of weakness into opportunities for strength. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, please consider like and subscribe, and thanks a lot if you did already. Moving on. Chapter 4. The Dual Strategy in Power Dynamics. In the intricate chess game of power, Robert Greene's laws highlight the need for both ruthlessness and strategic cunning. 15th law, crush your enemy totally, and 21st law, use the surrender tactic, may seem contradictory, especially if you're following the series, but together, they form a comprehensive understanding of power dynamics. You can find other parts down the description box. When you possess the upper hand and can decisively eliminate an enemy, crush your enemy totally is the clear strategy. This law advocates for leaving no room for your adversary to recover or retaliate. History shows that allowing an enemy to survive can lead to future threats and unresolved conflicts. By finishing them completely, you ensure a clean slate and unchallenged authority. It's a tactic of absolute dominance, leaving no loose end. Conversely, use the surrender tactic as a strategy for when you are the one at a disadvantage. In such situations, outright confrontation may lead to your downfall. Instead, surrendering temporarily can be a smart move. This tactic allows you to regroup, gather strength, and plan your next move from a safer position. It's about survival and the long game, turning a moment of weakness into an opportunity for future power. Greene's approach can be seen as playing both sides of the chessboard, understanding that power dynamics require flexibility and adaptability. When you are in a position of strength, you must act decisively to eliminate threats. When you are in a vulnerable position, a strategic retreat can preserve your potential for future dominance. This duality in strategy reflects a deep understanding of human behavior and the complexities of power. It teaches us that the path to power is not always straightforward. Sometimes the wisest course of action is to withdraw and wait for a more favorable moment. By mastering both strategies, one can navigate the treacherous waters of power with greater skill and foresight. Chapter 5. Balancing Dominance and Cunning. Robert Greene's laws on power provide a comprehensive guide to navigating complex social hierarchies. Integrating these laws with use the surrender tactic underscores a balanced approach to power dynamics, emphasizing both dominance and cunning. never outshine the master, teaches us the importance of humility and respect in hierarchical structures. By acknowledging and deferring to those above us, we ensure our own safety and foster beneficial alliances. This law emphasizes the necessity of understanding and respecting the power dynamics in any situation, ensuring we do not provoke unnecessary threats from those in superior positions. Crush your enemy advocates for complete domination when the opportunity arises. This approach ensures that any threat is entirely neutralized, leaving no room for future retaliation. It's a strategy of finality and certainty, aimed at securing long-term stability and unchallenged authority. On the other hand, use the surrender tactic offers a nuanced approach for situations where we find ourselves at a disadvantage. In these moments, strategic surrender can be a tool for survival, allowing us to regroup and plan our next move from a position of strength. It's a reminder that power is not just about brute force, but also about strategic thinking and patience. Balancing these laws requires a deep understanding of context and timing. In moments of strength, we must act decisively to eliminate threats. However, when faced with overwhelming odds, a strategic retreat can be the key to long-term success. This duality reflects a sophisticated approach to power, recognizing that true mastery involves both assertive action and strategic restraint. Green's emphasis on adaptability and foresight aligns with Stoic principles, which advocate for self-control, resilience, and strategic planning. By integrating these laws, we cultivate a comprehensive understanding of power dynamics, preparing ourselves for any challenge. In essence, these laws teach us that power is a delicate balance between dominance and cunning. By mastering both, we navigate the complex landscape of power with wisdom and skill, ensuring our continued success and influence.